Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let me roll up my sleeves, it's warm in here. This is Al from the future. We're going to try and do this in one take. I actually filmed this in my tent that night, the night of this vlog, but I deleted that footage because I felt like it was a little bit negative. But I've talked to a few people and they convinced me that it's better that I talk about everything, the good and the bad, and I know that people kind of like this vlog because it's usually positive and upbeat, and then I had my sort of little breakdown, I guess, and I didn't really want to bother everybody with negative feelings, but then you know, maybe it is better that you experience me at my lowest as well as highest and not just constant highs. So I'm going to try and keep this brief because the last one I recorded was 16 minutes long, so I don't want this to go on forever. So today's vlog was very, very silent. I didn't want to talk. I was not in a good mood at all, not in an angry mood, but just feeling really low. So to begin with, what has brought me to this point where I was, you know, very tearful, I guess, and in a very low mood, why I was so upset, I guess. So I believe it's an accumulation of things. Someone made a very good point that it may not be an accumulation of things just specifically to the CDT, but it might be the fact that I've done these trails back to back to back, and this whole thing has built up. But the things that really affected me, I don't believe are you know, general. I believe they are more specific to the CDT. So let's go through them. Firstly, there is the cost of small towns. I guess that's just something that goes, you know, that's just the world. Things cost more in these rural areas, and you can't help it. But I guess when you're trying to stay to a budget, it kind of built up. It wasn't just one resupply. It was like Du Bois, and then Grants Village, and then West Yellowstone, and how expensive Old Faithful was just for like a cup of coffee and a sandwich, costing over, you know, $25. And also the fact that the vegan one costs $3 more than the meat one. Like, hummus doesn't cost so much that you have to, I don't know, separate thing. Anyway, going down tangents. So there we've got that. We've got the constant costs just adding up, and it wasn't just Du Bois and all of Yellowstone. It was then Lima was expensive and Leather was expensive. I know I hadn't really got to that in the vlog. I'm past that now, but in the chronology of the vlog we're not there yet. But because they were so expensive, I was having to send these boxes ahead, and the boxes are costing me $18 or $25 on top of what I've already paid, which is, you know, maybe 2/3 or even a full 100% more than what it should normally cost in a larger town. And that was kind of getting to me, because I felt like a lot of this stuff was deliberately to gouge hikers. As I said in that sort of rant yesterday, that, you know, the gouging of hikers is really starting to get to me. The amount of money that people charge for things that shouldn't cost that much, like you know, whether it be a shuttle that suddenly costs $200 to drive 30 minutes or something like that too. But yeah, going on, we've got that. We've got the thunderstorms every day, and again, it's not just one thunderstorm. Okay, you can do it, and okay, now it's 2 days in a row, 3 days, it's a whole week, it's 2 weeks, and now it's been Colorado and Wyoming and getting into Idaho, and it's still raining every day, and it's just, you know, frustrating, I guess, to be wet, cold, dirty every single day, you know. And I guess that kind of built up, you know, this afternoon thunderstorms all the time. That was building up on me. The storm that I went through going into West Yellowstone, I didn't really talk about it all that much, but it scared the life out of me. I've never been walking in the open ridges and seen lightning hitting that close to me and had to run for my life. I'm wondering whether or not I'm going to get hit by lightning when I'm running. Then when I get into the trees are falling, and I'm wondering whether I'm going to get a tree collapse on me from nowhere. So that was scary, because I saw 5 trees in all fall, and I heard another 7 falling, but they weren't within my eyesight. So that's another thing, the how scary the storm was. And again, going back to costs, going into West Yellowstone, that was difficult for me, because I've never paid $47 for a hostel, let alone a campsite, let alone just a spot. Doesn't come with electricity, doesn't come with a towel or soap, it doesn't come with laundry. It is a raw cost of a 3 by 3 meter square. That's your spot, and nothing, no bells and whistles, no added extras. 47 is, you can pitch a tent here. Yeah, that was difficult. Not being able to charge devices, not being able to access the internet because the Wi-Fi was down. And then you've got mosquitoes and bugs all around you, because you've got the lamp poles right in front of your tent on the side of the road, and they're all coming into your tent. It was raining overnight, condensation, wet tent, it goes on. And then you've got, like I said, you've got all the noise from the RV park itself. It was $47 was the cheapest place to stay without stealth camping, and I just wanted access to a shower. So basically I paid $47 so that I could have a shower with foaming hand soap. Then I went, then I've got the whole thing of just feeling tired. No, there's no days off on this trail. A day off in town is, yes, you're not hiking as much or at all, but you're still walking around, you're sending boxes, doing resupply, doing your laundry. It's a constant flow of jobs from morning till night, and you want to get to bed early, and then before you know it, you're like, it's 10:30 at night and I'm exhausted and I have to get up tomorrow. I have to organise a way to get back to trail, and it's replacing one lot of problems for another lot of problems. So when you take time off trail, you are, okay, the hiking is that, but this is all these things I have to do. And that's when I said, I haven't had a day off. I haven't had a day off. I'm editing, I'm posting, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and all these jobs, trying to find decent price food, trying to get my clothes clean, trying to get myself clean. It's an endless list of chores. And then just as it's finished, it's like, okay, you can get 5 or 6 hours sleep, but then tomorrow morning you've got to get up super early and jump out back on trail and start hiking again. And almost, it's like getting back on trail is the relief, like, oh my goodness, it's over, thank goodness, I can just concentrate on the actual task of walking. So that's when I said before many times, town days are more stressful than trail days, like hiking days. So yeah, going into town is a stressful affair, and even if you have a day off and you just say, I'm going to sit on the bed all day, it just seems to disappear like that. It just goes. So there was that, and there's the build up of feeling like you're constantly on the go. You've got to constantly make miles. That you've got to balance this whole thing about how much food can you carry, because it's really heavy. If you don't believe me, next time that you go shopping for the week and you come back from the store, try and carry all of your groceries at once in your 2 hands, and then think that that's what hikers do every single time that they're walking up and down these huge steep mountains. They've got all of those groceries on their back, and you've just got to take it from the car to your front door. But these people and myself, we're walking 30-35 miles a day, 15,000 feet of elevation, gain and loss, and that's what we sign up for. I'm not saying that it's unfair, I'm just saying it's a fact. Some people don't really think or take in these things. There's a build-up of injuries. It's going to happen to every single hiker out here. It's not exclusive to me, but the more wear and tear on your body, the more it just builds up. There is no time that you can go, right, I'm going to take a week off and just put my foot up because my ankle's hurting. You've got this looming deadline of the weather window of, I've got to start at a certain time so I avoid the winter snows and winter temperatures, but I've got to stop and get off trail at a certain time before the winter comes and the snow comes back, or whatever. You know, it's just that weather window is yeah, no, it's finite. It's hard. So you've got that looming deadline of I have to be off trail, especially when you're an international hiker and you've booked your flights, or you've got a visa that says 6 months and you have to be out of the country by a certain amount of time or a certain date. That's hard. So that's something as well that holds weight in your mind. As you're hiking, you're constantly thinking about, I have to get these miles done because I have to be somewhere at a certain time, whether it's the long, as I've just said, or as I said before, it's the short, this town to this town. I can carry 5 days worth of food comfortably, so that's how many days I can maximum between this town and that town. So then you start saying, okay, well, maybe it would be less costly if I did a 4-day resupply, did more miles, and then got to this town quicker. You've got to balance that whole thing of how much weight can you carry, how much you can afford to spend on groceries this particular section. And if it's a really expensive town like West Yellowstone for me, I ended up doing a 2-day resupply and trying to fit all my hiking into 2.5 days, and just like going hungry on the half day, because it's just, you know, I couldn't have afforded to go and then make that a $90 resupply when that's usually my 5 or 6 day cost. So that's hard. You've got like I said, you've got these injuries that build up as well, so you don't want to push too many miles, because you know that knee problem or that ankle problem or my shoulder problem or this and this and this. All these problems that you may have as a hiker are just kind of building up, and you say, I can't push 30 miles because I've got this knee issue. So then it's like there's all these factors that you have to take in, and it's constant brain work and constantly planning around all of these different, you know, things that you have to keep in mind and say, you know, cost and injury and the amount of miles and how hard the terrain is. It may be flat through this section so you can fly, or it's particularly mountainous, or it's covered in snow, so I'm going to be doing 10 to 15 mile days instead of 30s. It's a constant battle of scheduling and planning, and this brain work keeps going. And then, you know, there's so many factors that go in. And for me personally, when I was in West Yellowstone, I think the final straw was all I wanted to do was edit videos and charge my devices, because I didn't charge them, you know, no electricity at the RV park. So it was like, okay, I've got to find somewhere I can sit down, just edit my vlogs, get them loaded up and get them away. And that was very difficult to find. Eventually I did find somewhere and I got it sorted, but yeah, it was difficult to find, because I went around a lot of places and they were saying, no, you can't sit in here unless you're eating. Okay, do you have anything vegan on the menu? No, we don't serve vegan food here. Okay, well, what can I have? Well, we only serve stuff with meat and dairy in it. And then that leads me into the night before, when all I wanted to do was get dry, get clean, and go out and have some food. And I would have paid a good money for having a lot of food and stuff in my face and feeling full for once, and I couldn't do it. I had to pay for 2 kids' portions of spaghetti bolognese, and then they told me they couldn't have the bolognese because it had beef bouillon in it, so they were just putting like tin chopped tomatoes on it. And yeah, it was $10 per kid's meal, and they just put 2 in a bowl, but it looked like one kid's meal, like it was about that much spaghetti. You know, you could hold it in your hand and there wouldn't be stuff on. And then they charged me $20 plus tip plus tax, taking it all to $27 all up. And that's upsetting. It's upsetting when you feel gouged because of the price of every single thing. And also, this is a minor thing, it doesn't really bother me, but it's kind of another thing, is you do feel like there's a little bit of discrimination, like people don't really want you in there because you smell, you look like a hiker, you am a hiker, and the people don't really want you in their restaurant, so they say the first thing they can to get you away, like, oh, I'm sorry, we're full. So there we go, that's my little explanation of why I broke down. It was a lot of factors all coming together at the wrong sort of moment, and it was in a place that was really expensive, that I felt like it's moaning a little bit. I don't mean to come across badly, but I really do feel like I was treated in a sort of negative way by almost everyone I came across. It's like they just weren't interested in being nice, being helpful, being courteous. Yeah, when I got back out to trail, I felt a relief that I was back on trail, but I just wanted to kind of talk, and as I talked more, and you know, it became several minutes long like this, and I felt very sad, and it kind of choked me up a little bit, and you can tell that in my voice. So I guess that's it. I guess that's the explanation. I'll probably turn this off and think, oh, why didn't I say that as well and that as well? But I think you get the picture. I don't really need to go into anything else, but that's it. Like, you miss people, the trail's hard, you know, and so yeah, there's a lot of things that come into it, and there's a lot more, like the trail conditions and things like that you get frustrated with, but that's the main things, that's the main reason I felt so bad, and that's why I filmed a silent vlog today up until this. So I hope that explains everything, and back to our regularly scheduled vlog tomorrow. And I guess I say thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.